All right, let's talk about the Chiefs' fourth round draft pick history, their low value on cornerbacks, at least in the drafts, Deebo Samuel trade rumors, and why I think the Chiefs will not pursue him, and much more. But first, how about those? What's up, everybody? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so make sure to sub if you're new, hit that like button, and let's get into this news. The Chiefs recently released an article on every fourth-round pick in Chiefs history, and I've covered all their previous articles so far on the fifth-round picks, sixth-round picks, and seventh-round picks, so the series is continuing on. It lives on this morning. Some standouts to me personally are Donnie Edwards in 1996, Sammy Parker and Jared Allen in 2004, DeAnthony Thomas in 2014, D-Rob in 2016, and L'Jarius Sneed in 2020. Sneed is a baller, man. I'm very grateful to have him on the team. The article goes on to say this about Sneed. Kansas City selected defensive back L'Jarius Sneed with the number 138th overall selection in 2020, acquiring one of the top steals in the entire NFL draft. In fact, the folks at CBS Sports tabbed Sneed as a top 10 pick in their redraft of the 2020 class after he tallied 7 passes defensed, 3 interceptions, and 2 sacks as a rookie. Sneed recorded 8 passes defensed, 2 interceptions, and 1 sack last season. One more note is that the Chiefs selected defensive end Jared Allen in the 4th round of the 2004 draft, acquiring a player who soon blossomed into one of the league's top pass rushers almost right away. In his 4 years with KC from 04 to 07, Allen led the NFL in tackles for loss, 56. He was ranked 2nd in sacks with 43, 5th in QB hits, 39, and 6th in forced fumbles with 13. That's a lot. Allen was traded to the Minnesota Vikings ahead of the 08 season, providing KC with the selection that was used on tailback Jamal Charles, the Chiefs' all-time leading rusher. Sheesh! Can we find a Jared Allen in this draft, please? We need help there badly. And side note here, someone was in the comments yesterday saying to stop with my emphasis on defense. Defense doesn't win championships, and why I agree the NFL does favor offense in today's NFL. It's still important to have a decent defense. We were ranked 31st in sacks overall last season. I don't know that we have to go insane on defense in the draft, but we definitely need to do better than 31st in the NFL. Obviously, the Chiefs couldn't be in the Super Bowl against the Bengals, but Aaron Donald basically won them the game at the end. If that was the Chiefs right there, we ain't getting no pressure. Not like that. I'm digressing just to say, hey, defense is important. I know that we also need weapons from Mahomes, so I'm not arguing that either. And let's stick on the subject of the draft and pick selections because I have a question for you all. I've been taking a look at a lot of mock drafts that continue to come out, and a lot of them have us selecting a cornerback in the first round. And I'm not an expert here by any means, but do we really think the Chiefs are going to select a cornerback in the first round, guys? They've only done so 4 times in history, at least from the research that I've done. And those 4 are Jim Marsalis in 1969, Gary Green in 1977, Dale Carter in 1992, and Marcus Peters in 2015. So that's a pretty recent one. But if we look at the Chiefs' recent draft history since Andy Reid, most cornerbacks have been selected in round 3 or later, outside of Marcus Peters, of course. Brett Veach definitely hasn't selected a cornerback in round 1. I'll tell you that much right now. So, what do you guys think? Cornerback in round 1, like a lot of these mock drafts are having us select, or do the Chiefs stick with their current mindset of a cornerback not being a high valued priority, at least in the early rounds of the draft? And then I don't want to beat a dead horse around here about Tyreek Hill, but Sam McDowell with the Kansas City Star recently released an article titled, "There's one bonus of the Tyreek Hill trade for the Chiefs that we've yet to talk about." And I have talked about this in a sense here, but his angle is a good one worth covering. So here's my summary of his article with some of my own commentary added. Last season, the Chiefs needed to tweak something. Yeah, we were a top 5 offense in 2021, but it's more a question of how do we remain a top 5 offense moving forward? The opposition felt as if they figured something out with the Chiefs offense last season. They didn't say it out loud per se, but the film said it. The 2 deep shells said it. The offense at one point in the season produced just 36 points in a 3-game stretch. Yeah, Mahomes adjusted, and we did make it to another AFC Championship game, but getting there in the first place took a 13-second miracle Grim Reaper-like drive to force overtime and ultimately the win against Buffalo in the divisional round game. So yeah, it really was a miracle that we made it to the AFC Championship game. There's really no denying that. And I think the last throw that was ever thrown to Tyreek solidified the need for change. That was the final offensive play for the Chiefs in overtime against the Bengals, and that play ended in an interception and the loss of that game. Mahomes had become too dependent on Tyreek, and the defense that we played knew it. So the trade of Tyreek forces change that prompts new personnel and alters the offensive scheme, even if slightly. Mecole Hardman and the recent addition of Marquez Valdes-Scantling ensures that we will have speed, but adding Juju Smith-Schuster into the mix, whose strength is running the underneath over the middle routes, a receiver who can just go get it. We found size as well. Size, speed, and physicality. That's the new Trinitarian term for the offensive receiving core thus far. Mahomes spoke with a definite excitement about this very thing during his recent presser with the media, and isn't quite sure how defenses will prepare to play the Chiefs now. Sure, the receiving room may not be more talented absent Hill, but it's a more diverse group with a variety of skill sets. Hardman can handle some of Tyreek's speed style routes, and you have Kelsey and Juju for the middle of the field, and Valdes-Scantling can be used in a variety of ways, including deep threats, which Andy Reid was clear to mention this among many other things during his presser on Sunday. And let's take a look at the most recent game last season against the Steelers, for example. Hill was coming back from COVID, played fewer than half of the overall snaps, and was only targeted twice that game. The result of that? Mahomes went 23 for 30, 258 yards, and 3 TDs, in which 9 different players caught at least one pass in that game. So yes, the Chiefs do lose a lot with Hill, but they gain the chance to fool teams once again. Some teams, at least. To end this segment, Mahomes said it best in his presser. I think we're going to have a different variety for them where they don't know exactly where the ball is going every single play. They won't know who it's going to because we have so many different guys that can make plays in this offense. And then yesterday, the NFL universe went wild as more offseason madness seems to continue. It just keeps going, guys. Jeff Darlington, an ESPN sports reporter, said yesterday, breaking news, I just spoke to wide receiver Deebo Samuel, and he told me that he has asked the 49ers to trade him. He did not want to discuss specific reasons behind his request, but he has indeed let the 49ers know his desire to leave the organization. After this, Ian Rappaport said Deebo requested a trade more than a week ago, but the Niners had been aware and wanted to work with him to pay him a good amount of money and make things work. But it seems like money is not the issue here, though. Deebo has reportedly been unwilling to accept or engage in any offer whatsoever. He even says that he's unwilling to have a discussion. Yikes. And guys, it looks like he just doesn't like how he's being utilized as a sort of hybrid halfback wideout combo. He wants to be a true wide receiver and basically preserve his longevity in the league as far as hits are concerned. And after this, Ian Rappaport even said that the Chiefs could be one of the top teams to pursue him.
A couple teams to watch, the Jets, the Packers, the Chiefs, the Lions, among several others.
And the NFL themselves dropped an article titled Top 10 landing spots for Deebo, and the Chiefs were on the list. And this is what they say. The thoughts of Samuel and Andy Reid's offense has to make tape heads drool. The Chiefs have spent the offseason noticeably trying to add weapons who can win over the middle and bust the too high schemes defenses have used to stifle Kansas City's offense. No one works the middle and maximizes yak better than Deebo. He'd be a menace with Patrick Mahomes' quick strike arm. Casey didn't want to make Tyreek Hill the highest paid receiver in the NFL, but they were willing to pay him more than $20 million per year. Would that be enough to make Deebo happy? Maybe the Niners could get back their original first-round pick in the deal, which is number 29th overall, which Casey received in the Hill trade with Miami. And then Field Yates said this, there are 3 key elements in a Deebo Samuel trade other than the 49ers' willingness. Need, draft capital to send back, and financial flexibility for an extension. Factoring in all of those, no team feels better equipped, in my opinion, to make a push for a trade than the Jets. And remember this, the Jets were the other team that were in the running for the big Tyreek Hill trade that happened. He ended up going to Miami instead. But I could see that happening with the Jets. But to Field Yates's point, the Chiefs have all 3 of those things as well. need draft capital and financial flexibility with the Tyreek Hill trade. Well, shortly after this, Josina Anderson said, when requesting a trade like Deebo Samuel has, though the move isn't guaranteed, you always garner feedback from the market. And regarding the Chiefs, a league source told me while Samuel is regarded as highly talented, the team is not actively pursuing him currently. They're focused on the draft. And I think the key word here in her tweet is the word currently, because this is lying season, aka smokescreen season, aka as a team, we don't want other teams to know what we're up to season. And I mean, crazier things have happened. Seriously, I mean, do you guys remember 2019? 2 days prior to the NFL draft, we traded for Frank Clark in exchange for a first-round pick in 2019, a second-round pick in 2020, and a swap of third-round picks, plus gave him a whopping 5-year contract worth $105 million with $63.5 million guaranteed. Now, while bringing this up, I know some of you may be having PTSD in regards to how this has worked out for us. I just say that to say the Chiefs making a move like this is not out of the realm of possibilities. We've taken big swings like this several times, but I'm just not sure they make this move. And let me give you a couple of reasons why I think Josina's tweet may indeed hold out and remain true. I do get the feeling that the Chiefs really are focused on the draft, getting younger, and surrounding Mahomes with cheaper talent with a focus on longevity. And I do believe they think they're in a good spot as far as their receiving core is concerned right now. And we'll definitely look to add to it, yes, but via the draft, not replacing Tyreek Hill with a lesser talented player that is demanding a trade and will still command a big payday. Deebo is a few years younger than Tyreek, which is a valid argument. And don't get me wrong, Deebo is a very talented player. No disrespect when I say he's not as talented as Hill. I just think the Chiefs have bigger issues needing addressed here. As far as the salary cap is concerned, you've got OBJ in talks of getting his big deal done. You have several issues here on the defensive side of the ball as well. I've talked about that, the D line. But could I be wrong about all of this? Absolutely. The Chiefs could very well use their plethora of draft picks to trade for Deebo Samuel, but we will certainly find out very soon because the draft is just a week away. What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Do you want Deebo? Should the Chiefs use some of their draft picks to make it happen? Or do we focus up on the draft, especially for a wide receiver? I know we're going to get a wide receiver early somewhere. We have to. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. It's been the craziest offseason I can ever remember in recent history. It is insane out here. Make sure to sub for more daily news like this and check out this video here from the previous day's news in case you missed it. So until next time, let's go. Let's go. How about those